Hi guys, welcome to Fullerton Day. My name is Mira Farka. I'm a professor of economics here at Cal State Fullerton. I'm also the co-director for the Center of Economic Analysis and Forecasting, also here at Cal State Fullerton. And I'm actually here today to try to convince you to seriously consider becoming an econ major when you join us this fall. One of the main reasons for doing so, and I know you've heard from my colleagues plenty, but one of the main reasons for doing so is that you will learn all the right tools that will help you with economic forecasting. Well, what is economic forecasting, you may ask? What does it do? Well, economic forecasting kind of teaches you a set of tools about how to forecast macro trends. So you can learn and actually be able to forecast where the economy is headed. Are we headed for better times? Are we headed for a recession? These are all very important information that you may want to know not only as a business person, if you're running your own business, but also on a personal level to make economic decisions, like when it's the right time to buy a house. Now, how do you do that? What are the tools that you will learn if you join us to learn about economic forecasting? What is the magic of economic forecasting? Well, to start with, you will analyze a lot of data, a huge amount of data. You will build economic models using this data. You also will actually be able to summarize this information on graphs, charts, be able to analyze them, and so on, right? Now, some of you may find this a little boring, right? It sounds not super excited. Some of you may even think this is a little nerdy. I get that, but I'm here to tell you guys that this is not the case. Economic analysis and forecasting is a really exciting field, and I actually strongly suggest that you consider majoring it, or at least consider taking a few classes that will teach you these techniques. And there is no other time more than ever that economists is in great demand when things are not going well, when we're facing a crisis, when we're going into a recession, when the economy is kind of falling into a cliff, and when the world is sort of falling apart, kind of like what we're experiencing right now. But in fact, let me just walk you back a few years. This is, a few years ago, in 2008, 2009, it's about 12 years ago. You guys were kids. You probably don't remember this, but your parents remember. And we had the Great Recession. Things were pretty scary back then. Lots of people were losing jobs. If you look at this chart here, it shows we were losing about 800,000 jobs per month in January, in February, in March of 2009. These are scary numbers. Home prices were collapsing from 2008 all the way till March 2009, home prices fell by 35% on average. In Orange County, fell by 60%. In Riverside and San Bernardino, even more, 60 to 70%. Very scary time. Stock market completely collapsed. It fell by about 56% during this period, from August 2008 till March 2009. Everybody was running scared. Everybody was worried the winter is actually here. Nobody knew how long this was going to last. Nobody knew how we're going to get out of this hole. So one thing to do would be to actually design economic policies that will help the economy during these tough times. So for this, you need economic forecasting, and you also need economic experts to do so. Now, fiscal policy, meaning the government has to come to rescue, but the question is how big the package should be. Should it be $1 million? Should it be $1 billion? Well, Congress reached out to economists, asked them for their projections, and they came up with a package that was in the ballpark of $750 billion for banks. This is to capitalize banks because the banking sector was in big trouble, and another $787 billion for the economy. This went to create jobs, to actually expand unemployment benefits, and so on. Now, of course, things proceeded very, very slowly at a glacial pace because Congress tends to act very slowly. So it took a while for the money to go where it was intended to go. However, after all this, slowly, the economy did heal. In fact, we went from an unemployment rate of 10% in 2010 to about 2.5% just last month. This is like numbers we haven't seen since the 1950s, right? Unemployment rate was really low. We added a total of 22 million jobs from January 2010 till January 2020. So over the 10-year period, we added a lot of jobs. This was great. The stock market did fantastically well. It grew by 376% from March 2009 all the way till February of this year. So of course, I would say a huge round of applause to the economists and the politicians that listen to the economists to get the economy out of the hole and to be able to get us out of the ditch. But now again, we're facing with unprecedented challenges. Because of coronavirus, all of us have been asked to stay home. A vast majority of us have been asked to stay home to flatten the curve, to kill the virus by staying home, right? In fact, the governments all over the states are actually asking people, as closing small businesses, they're asking people to stay home. In a word, you can kind of say that Earth is actually closed. Economic activity has pretty much come to a standstill for a large number of people. Now, this has huge economic consequences. I mean, in fact, here's some things are bad and they may even get worse, in fact, by the day. Here are some projections as to how bad things may get. Here are some estimates. Some economists are predicting that GDP will fall by 30% this quarter. GDP is the production output for the economy. If production will fall by 30%, that's a huge number. We haven't seen this number since the Great Depression. Some others are projecting that 47 million are going to lose jobs during this period because people have been ordered to stay home. Unemployment rate will skyrocket to 32%. I mean, and things may actually get worse before they get better, right? We don't know how long the pandemic will last. Maybe the summer will be a bit lucky and it'll go away, but will it come back in the fall? Will it come back next spring? Will we be ordered to go back home and stay home again? How bad will that be for the economy? Will there be an economy to come back to when this is all over? Now, again, Congress did act this time around a lot faster than before. They reached out to economists with their economic projections, and they came up with a better solution, a much faster solution this time around. In fact, Congress has thrown a lot of money to the economy to help us through this very tough period. It proceeded in three phases. Phase one was $8.3 billion. This was passed 3 weeks ago. Phase two, $178 billion, passed 2 weeks ago. And these two first bills were mostly about medical expenditures, a little bit for unemployment insurance, but mostly to go to hospitals and for medical supplies. But the big phase three, was passed just last week, is $2.2 trillion. This is unprecedented in any level we've seen before. This is to help you and I, people who are laid off, people who are getting unemployment benefits, but also to help tie over small businesses and large businesses. Is the problem solved? Are we actually going to get out? Is this going to be enough to get us out of a ditch? Are we going to be dealing with a worse situation again this fall? To answer these questions, I would say, come join us this fall, become an econ major, learn all the tools that will make you the experts, that will make you the experts to tell Congress what the right response would be should the next crisis hit us. And in fact, my own center, the Wood Center for Economic Analysis and Forecasting, has a number of internships that could help you with that, help teach you the tools of economic forecasting so you become the experts. And with that, I want to say good luck, and I hope to see you all this fall.